News Radio WAB 1180 welcomes you to The Seniors Rock Show, presented by the law firm of Clark Peshkin. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion shedding a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join us with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now, from the News Radio WAB 1180 studios in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Well, hello, and I'm so happy to be here, and I can't believe it. We are in February now. Wow. And I've noticed lately that February is packed with a lot of things to celebrate. And it's, for example, the month of Valentine's Day, and it's the federal holiday President's Day, and it's when we honor Black History Month, too. And this year, Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, and Ash Wednesday, for those that like margaritas, also fall in February. And with 2024 being a leap year, Pam, we're going to get an entire extra day of fun. Yes, lots to celebrate, but not to be a downer, as we used to say, but there is a lot of work to be done. And Mike Robinson's here today. He's going to remind us of that. And I'm talking about when it comes to advocating, excuse me, for older adults. And that's what we do here on the show. The Seniors Rock Show is about and for adults of all ages, of course. It's an hour to reflect, and we like to look forward with as much information as we can gather along the way. And we try to get things that are new so we can share them with you, because obviously people are busy. You may not have time to look into it yourself. So we try to highlight things. Today's show is a good example of that. And we're going to learn some interesting facts from Dr. Adam Kramer of Agape Physical Therapy about why physical therapy is not only good for our bodies, but who knew physical therapy is also good for the economy. And in keeping with our mission to shine a bright light on aging, my co-host, again, estate planning attorney Mike Robinson, has some illuminating highlights from the recent, which was like a week ago, the Grape Legislative Breakfast. Mike, by the way, is a partner. If you're new to the show, he's a partner with the award-winning law firm of Clark Peshkin. And it is great to see him back. He's been traveling a bit. So hello, Mike, and it is wonderful to see you. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Joanna, happy Saturday. Thanks. Yeah, great to be back, as always. So, yeah, you mentioned the annual legislative breakfast that Grape puts on, and as our listeners know, I hope, Grape is a sponsor of the show. And as always, a lot of interesting information. But what I really want to highlight are some of the issues that were discussed on which our listeners might want to take some action. And none of these, Joanna, are new issues, as you know, but they continue to worsen each year. And so there was conversation about the lack of transportation options for older adults who no longer drive, lack of safe, affordable housing, and food insecurity. You know, interestingly, now nearly 22% of older adults in Rochester live below the poverty level. And over a third of older adults in Rochester live either below or very close to the poverty line. So that's become, and in fact, another alarming statistic that we actually talked about a number of shows ago, a 70% increase in poverty among older Rochesterians in just the last decade. So that's pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
You know,
and Mike, I was going to say 25% of the people in Monroe County, we learned also, are over the age of 60. So it's growing, of course, but go ahead.
It is, and in fact, it's growing quite rapidly, as we'll talk about. You know, elder abuse, and Joanna, we've talked about that on the show many times. Both financial elder abuse, other forms of elder abuse, and that can be happening in people's own homes, or if they're in a congregate living facility. The availability of care for older adults, whether it's in their homes or in a congregate living facility, you know, it is becoming increasingly difficult to find adequate care. as I'm sure many of our listeners know, and I'm sure they all have stories of trying to get a loved one into an appropriate facility and how difficult that is. And of course, that's a lack of caregivers, is what it really comes down to. And just community support services generally are
Hmm.
lacking for older adults. And Joanna, certainly that's not to say that none of those services are available. We just don't have enough of them to meet
Right.
the needs of older adults. And we really can't afford to not address those problems right now. We're already behind, and we're getting further behind every year. And to a point you made just a few moments ago, we have 3.5 million New Yorkers who are age 65 and older, and that's more than the entire population of 21 other states.
Wow.
And the number of New Yorkers age 65 and older grew by an astonishing 31% in the last 10 years. And here in Rochester, that population actually grew by 64% over the past 10 years. That's the highest rate of any major city or county in the state. And so when you add to that the large number of older adults living in poverty, which, as I think I just mentioned, has grown by
Hmm.
70%
Right.
over the last decade, you can see the need for services for older adults is increasing rapidly. And yet, and this was, of course, as you know, a big emphasis at the legislative breakfast, the governor's proposed budget includes significant cuts to programs that are designed to address these issues. So, for example, there's a nearly $16.3 million cut for the community services for the elderly program. There's another $375,000 cut from elder abuse education, which directly impacts lifespan here in our community. Another $200,000 cut from the Patient's Right Hotline, continued failure to provide adequate Medicaid reimbursement to nursing homes, which especially hurts nonprofit nursing homes.
Hmm.
So, despite the fact that these problems continue to grow, we're seeing proposed cuts in the very programs that are supposed to address these issues. And most importantly, these are very large quality of life issues, but they
Yep.
do also have a significant economic impact. It's like the homeowner who doesn't keep up with repairs and maintenance on their home. The longer those repairs and maintenances are ignored, the worse the problems get, and ultimately they become much more expensive to fix. Um,
Hmm.
so, a lot of important information, but a lot of concerns raised. And then I think what's also important is to know that we can do something about it.
Yeah.
Um, and
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 it
what
and I'm gonna say, Mike, I'm sorry. I just wanted to interrupt you for a minute because I'm sitting here shaking my head. Obviously, we're on radio, people can't see that, but I'm shaking my head because it's so sad. And I was at that meeting. I was at the legislative breakfast meeting. I walked away and I think I used the word deflated when I left because after hearing about all the cuts, about the growth in our community, and I say our community because we're all seniors, we're all elders, and it's affecting everyone and it's gonna get worse. So I just wanted to mention the other thing is that transportation and food insecurity goes back to every legislative breakfast I can remember for the last 15 years. So
I
it makes me
agree.
want to cry. So tell us, what the heck can we do?
Well, what we can do is contact our legislators and let them know that these are issues that are important to us. If, I mean, they impact us and our loved ones, and if they're not impacting us now, they're going to impact us in the future
Yeah.
because the lack of these services, it's not just the people who are living near or below the poverty line who are impacted. Middle income folks are impacted. Many of my clients are facing challenges because of these issues. So it's not simply those who are the most economically challenged. So it really does impact all of us. So contacting our legislators, writing to them, calling them. If you have a story to share with them, please do, because stories are especially impactful when you're contacting your legislators. And I
Hmm.
wanted to share, Joanna, because I know many people might be wondering, well, I'm not quite sure who is my elected representative.
Thank you, because everyone says that, but who the heck are they? Which ones are we supposed to call? Tell us, or how do we
Exactly.
contact them, I guess, is also the other question.
Right. So there's a great website. It is, and I know we're posting it on the Seniors Rock page,
Yep.
but it's usa.gov/elected dash officials. So that's usa.gov/elected dash officials. You plug in your street address and they will tell you who are your local officials, county and state, for assembly and senate, your local federal representatives as well, Congress, of course, senators here in New York. There's two. There's Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand. But all of
Mhm.
that information is there, how to write to them, how to phone call them. So easy to find that information. And if these issues are important, which I would assume they are, if you're listening to the show, reach
Yep.
out to your legislators and let them know that they need to do something about it.
Excellent, and I will make sure that goes up as soon as we get off the air. I will post that, website on the Facebook page, and, Mike, thank you for gathering that information. All of these things are so important. And we go about our daily lives and we have to remember we are a community, as I said, and we're all together and there are people out there that are suffering. So we need to pay attention. We need to raise our voices, right? And another thing that's really is come to the forefront lately is ageism. And if you don't know, ageism is discrimination against older people due to negative and inaccurate stereotypes. What are some of the ways you can help end ageism? Stay tuned, and we'll tell you in a minute after the break.
And welcome back to the Seniors Rock Show. I'm attorney Mike Robinson here with Joanna Palvino. And Joanna, this month, as in every February, we're celebrating Senior Independence Month, and which is designed to recognize, you know, contributions that are being made to improve the quality of life for older adults in the community. And interestingly, I did not know this. This began back in the 1800s with the first nursing homes that were established, and
Yeah, they were a little different back then.
they
Mhm.
certainly were.
Although there's
Uh,
not a lot, actually, I should say that there's still some things that need to be changed for
Well,
sure.
there no question, as we were
All right,
just
go ahead.
just talking about. So, but no, you're absolutely correct. But at any rate, it's an interesting time. There's a you can Google it and find some interesting statistics. But there's a lot of positive changes taking place. Our show, for example, is one that's developed over the years where we're trying to advance new thinking about aging and celebrate Americans living longer and healthier, ideally, and the contributions that older adults make to their communities.
Absolutely. That's so true, Mike. And it's exciting to see, I have to say, the newfound interest recently. And I think it's because, the population is growing, of course, and everyone's noticing that. But we are embracing age instead of fighting it. And I think the time is now for some positivity, as Fitz says, around aging. And the Gerontological Society of America is leading a national effort to reframe aging. One of the ways we can counter ageism is by changing how we talk about aging, right? So here are a few of the themes to avoid and alternatives to advance according to the Quick Start Guide from the National Center to Reframe Aging. And I'm going to give you that website in a minute. But Mike, let's talk about a couple of these things that we're all learning. We all say things because it's habit, but there's some things that we could change a little bit. So let's talk about that. And I'll start, okay?
All
The
right.
first one is, and I'm guilty of this, calling the population growth, the silver tsunami or the tidal wave of people. It sounds catastrophic, right? That's what they're pointing out. A growing population of older people shouldn't be frightening. And we could say things like, as Americans living longer and healthier lives. We could talk about it in a positive way. And that's the point of this quick start guide. What do you think? I shared it with you. Which one stood out to you?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's, words have power, and the words we choose to use impact not only our own thinking, but of course the thinking of others. So, the word elderly is one that they mention, or referring to someone as seniors or aging dependents, ways that are sort of labeling people and singling them out rather than, we're all part of the community, and some of us are older, maybe just using the word older folks or older Americans, but finding ways just to not single out older folks in a way that kind of stereotypes them.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
like we and us sounds better, right? Instead of
yeah.
pointing out like individual things.
Exactly. And then, using terms as people are aging, that they're struggling, they're battling, fighting, those sort of, conflict oriented words, but maybe just thinking of it more as we're just, aging. It's a dynamic process. It leads to new abilities and knowledge that we can share with our communities. That's another reframing.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that Anne Marie Cook, by the way, of Lifespan, brought up at the legislative breakfast. What what we are bringing to the community is astounding. The experience and the caring people that are now in this age group are here to help the community, and we need to look at it that way instead of making it sound so negative and that everybody who gets to a certain age is falling down, they can't do anything. So I love this. Now, the word ageism, if you don't really explain that, if you just call it ageism, people don't know what you're talking about. So let's remember, ageism is discrimination against older people, and it's due to negative and inaccurate stereotypes. Well, we've seen that in a lot of different areas over the last few years. We've tried to change a lot of things that have been, negative about different people, different races, different religions. We're all trying to be positive and embrace this unity. Let's not forget about us older Americans. I'm gonna stop now. I get all emotional. Okay, I'll do one more. I'll do one more. How about when we say, we need to do something about aging? What does do something mean? Well, we just talked about that in the last segment. Let's use concrete examples. Let's talk about intergenerational community centers, things we can do with younger people. Remind them that there are things that, in the geriatric community that we need desperately as we go forward, and give them, as it says in the guide, inventive solutions.
Exactly, and I think, the point too there that you're making is aging is not a problem. Aging is part of life. The problem is, do we have the appropriate support services for ourselves and our communities to support us as we age?
You got it. I'll remind you, Maya Angelou. I know, Mike, that's one of your favorites. She said, "When we know better, we do better." So, folks, let's do better. Call out ageism and make choices about what to emphasize and what to leave unsaid. Reframingaging.org is where you'd like to go to get more ideas on how to end ageism with us. Reframingaging.org.
All right, and we'll be back after the break with Dr. Adam Kramer of Agape Physical Therapy. We'll look at physical therapy and the positive impact the industry is having on our economy here on Seniors Rock Radio.
Well, welcome back to Seniors Rock Radio. And if you've just tuned in, we are having a nice hour here. We're learning a lot, and we're pleased now to welcome Dr. Adam Kramer from Agape Physical Therapy. Adam's been here before, and I'll tell you who he is. He's a Nazareth College grad when it was called college. Now it's university, of course, but he's been with Agape for like 10 years or more. He's active at the Senior Center in Gates in the community, and he brings his expertise to classes there. So I think he does so much, and he does all this while he and his wife are raising a young family, and they're getting ready, I heard, for a new baby boy coming in May. So I want to hear their names. Maybe you can do a shout out to them. But did I mention that he's also the director of physical therapy operations at Agape Physical Therapy? And he's the representative in the great organization that we love so much. So, hello to Adam and welcome back.
Hello, Joanna and Mike. So glad to be back on the show. And hello to my kids, Cole and Ray. And I have to thank them because I'm using their bedroom to broadcast from today. So,
I love it. That's terrific.
Very good. Yeah, thanks, Adam, for coming back. The economy is always a huge topic of discussion, and it impacts seniors as well as everyone else. How is the physical therapy profession having a positive impact in the current economic landscape?
yeah, so I bet you were surprised when I told you a physical therapist was going to come on the air to discuss the economy today. But we know that medical costs in the US are sky high and rising. In fact, we outpace much of the world when it comes to medical costs. And ultimately, these costs are being passed down to us, the end user, through taxes, insurance premiums, and high deductibles. So our professional organization, the American Physical Therapy Association, wanted to find out what the benefit economically would be for choosing physical therapy over other common treatments in the US. And they released a report this month. And as it turns out, physical therapy is saving patients and the healthcare system tens of thousands of dollars per person who are choosing PT over other treatments.
Wow.
Interesting and not shocking, right? I mean, prevention, ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure. What, Adam, what diagnoses did the report look at? And did they include things that our listeners might be seeking care for currently?
Yeah, so the report was limited to just 8 diagnoses out of the hundreds that we treat as physical therapists. But let me give your listeners some statistics on some of the more common ones. And keep in mind, these numbers are per case or per episode of care. One, for example, is fall prevention. On average, per person, physical therapy is saving $2,144. And this, for example, this is someone who has had a fall, they're maybe close to a fall, and PT is able to prevent another fall, which then maybe prevents a nursing home stay, a fracture, a concussion. Another one, very common, arthritis of the knee. On average, physical therapy is saving $13,981 per case. And of course, this goes back to if you're starting to limp, you're starting to have knee pain, and physical therapy can get you back to moving normally. You may prevent a joint replacement or injections or more expensive treatments.
Well, I am here to tell you that Agape Physical Therapy actually helped me. I have arthritis in my knee, but I was going to your Greece location and I was given the right exercises and I am still walking every day and he encouraged me, our friend Pat over there, to continue to move, as we say all the time, keep moving. And I did. And guess what? I'm feeling pretty good. And he helped me get a brace that is also, if I get a little bit of pain, I put that on. And boy, I'll tell you what, Adam, it has made a difference in me. And I feel like I don't even need the surgery right now. And I'm just going to keep going because it seems to like it's gotten better, is what my point is. So, but I do have a question. What would you say to the individual, someone who's considering physical therapy care, but maybe they have financial barriers and they don't know how to get the care they need? What would you say to them?
Absolutely. So we have a huge body of medical evidence that shows that PT is effective for improving so many diagnoses. That includes surgical rehabilitation, preventing falls, improving your daily function and safety. But now, for the first time ever, we have a report that shows that physical therapy is also probably the most budget friendly option to treat these. So what I tell people is just come for one visit, come for the first visit, and have talk to the physical therapist, have them put together a plan for you. Our therapists are all very sensitive to everyone's individual situation, and we can put together, a plan for that individual.
Yeah, it's not hard, folks, and they'll answer all your questions. Like Adam, most of the folks that I've met at the centers are all doctors of physical therapy, and they've spent many years studying the body and studying how to help you out. So do this. And Adam, let's tell the folks, how do you set up an appointment for physical therapy at Agape?
Sure. The easiest way is to just go to our website, agapephysicaltherapy.com. There's a quick form there that you can fill out to set up your first appointment. And then the second way would be to just give us a call at 889-7777.
Excellent. And anything else you'd like to mention while we have you on the air here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do. our community exercise programs for seniors. Those are um, free or nearly free at our Child Light Community Center as well as the Gates Senior Center. And that's a good way to stay moving, get moving, and stay moving. It's a full body exercise. We do strengthening, stretching, and balance. So that may be a good starting point for a lot of people too, especially if you're on a budget or physical therapy may be too expensive for you.
Excellent. So the senior centers are there for you, and you can meet at them. You do some of the classes, right?
Yes, I teach the class at the Chi Community Center. That's every Thursday at 10 a.m. That is free for Chi residents and $25 per year for outside residents. We also do a class there Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. And then we also have our Gates Community Center class as well. And that one is Mondays at 2 o'clock.
Excellent. Very affordable, folks. Get moving. Go to Agape. Call them. Get on their site. Agape has locations, by the way, all around Rochester, and you can find one near you at agapephysicaltherapy.com. And as they say, recovery, wellness, and performance all start at Agape PT. Adam, thank you so much for being here.
Adam,
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
yeah, great stuff. Folks, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break here on News Radio Wham 1180.
Was that the Macarena? I'm laughing. This is Seniors Rock Radio, and we're having some fun here. We're wrapping up the hour, and Mike, I love to stump you once in a while, so I have one for you today to welcome you back. Today is also the day we mentioned some things earlier about the national days of, and today is a day we honor one of the world's most useful inventions. Would you like to take a stab at what that is?
Oh,
He
boy.
doesn't know. I'm telling you, he doesn't know, folks.
No advance warning on this one. Uh, Useful coffee maker.
Eh, wrong. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll tell you because we could be doing this all day. It's the umbrella. Yes, National Umbrella Day casts a little
Ah,
shade, yeah, on February 10th. And shade is a word we're quite familiar with here in upstate New York, especially in the winter, right? So also is closing all the windows up that we do for months and breathing indoor air that might not be the healthiest. Yep, it's cold and flu season too. So I'm so happy
yes.
we finally, yes, it is. And I'm happy we finally got our air ducts clean, Mike. After years of waiting, I told the folks this over the last couple of weeks, and I wonder why did we wait? It's made a world of difference in our breathing, sleeping, and cleaning. And I researched, as you know I do, duct cleaning, and the only company I would recommend is Indoor Air Professionals. They actually work with the US Navy. How about that?
Ah,
Peter Gordon, yep, he's an indoor air quality specialist, and he explained everything to me. And you know how I am. I like to know everything. I dig in. So he offered to do that. He told me all about it. And then he offered us $150 off to do it. And we did. So we got our ducts cleaned by Indoor Air Pros, and I recommend you folks at least get educated about what you can about your own home or your business because something might be lurking in your air ducts and you want to find out about that. Get it out of there. Anyway, call Peter at 427-8020. He does work on Saturdays. He's at extension 303. You can ask him for that $150 savings and get your ducts cleaned. 427-8020, extension 303. And Mike, I'm not kidding. Breathe easier, sleep better, less dust. Love that. And it's a healthy decision. And that's what we're about on the show here. So call Indoor Air Professionals 427-8020 and ask for Peter, or don't ask for him, just hit 303. And by the way, if you already have your air ducts cleaned and you might be looking for a medical grade air purifier, you can get 350 off of that. So don't tell them I told you that, but you can get 350 off of a Healthway medical grade air purifier. Give it a call. Don't wait. Mike, it's been a great show. I'm enjoying myself today. How's it
It
going?
it's been fun. So that just reminded me. So Peter Gordon, do you remember the pop duo Peter and Gordon?
Yes, actually, that's so funny. It was like the 60s, maybe?
Yeah, and do you remember their big hit?
No.
Well, they did a few, but World Without Love was probably the big one. Lady Godiva was another one. So
Oh,
for all
yeah.
of our listeners who were tuned into the radio back in the early 60s, you would remember Peter and Gordon.
Yes. Isn't that interesting? Valentine's Day is coming up, so that's a good time to mention that. By the way, real quick, I'm going to tell you we got 2 tickets to give away. We have for a romantic date night. If you don't have anything to do this week for Valentine's Day, you can go to a live concert experience on Friday, February 16th. That's this coming Friday at the Eastman Theater in Rochester. It's La La Land. It's going to be interactive with the RPO and some singers doing the soundtrack, I guess, while they're showing the movie. If you call right now and you're the third caller, you get 2 tickets. Happy Valentine's Day. 222-1180. Pam will answer. All you need to do is give her your name, and your name will be at the box office for 2 tickets. Again, happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
And
that's a
Mike,
good giveaway.
I jumped in there. You probably have more to say, I'm thinking.
Not a whole lot more, although I do want to wish Happy New Year to those who are celebrating. It is the Lunar New Year, also known as the Chinese New Year, and the beginning of Spring Festival. So folks who are celebrating, and my favorite, it's the Year of the Dragon, by the way. So pretty auspicious stuff. And then in a couple of weeks, there'll be the Lantern Festival, which caps off Spring Festival. And that's always, I love watching films and photos from around the world.
Yeah, in spring, I feel like the animals are getting a little confused out there with the 50-degree weather we're having. I know it's going to get colder, but the bird was going in the nest today. That we have a little nest on the side of the house, and I thought, "Uh-oh." They're confused. I don't think it's time to nest yet, right?
I think we're all confused. Yeah, what a
Mhm.
crazy winter so far.
Yeah. Oh, we have a winner for those tickets, and it's Janine. And Janine, congrats. I
Yes,
hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Are you there? Oh, hi. I just wanted to say
I'm here.
congrats on winning the tickets. And are you a regular listener?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's great. And what do
Well,
you like
thank
about the
you.
show? Can we ask?
Oh, just great to hear the different feedback and ideas.
Terrific. Thank you for saying that, and thank you for listening. And I hope everybody. I think she's gone. Okay. I guess I'll close right now with a reminder that we're aging, but we're not invisible, folks. We hear that. I hear that my friends say, I feel invisible. Well, you're not. And no one can make you feel invisible or make you invisible. There's no magic cloak. There's no poof and you're gone. Society's rhetoric on aging or judgment of one's choices can't make us disappear. So stand up or sit up tall and say it loud and proud. Seniors rock.